Hello, writers. Come write with me. My name is Michaela Greenwood. I create worlds for mind adventures. Welcome to my channel, Write with Michaela. I'm very excited to have you on my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can go on this journey with me. Today is story time, or the day of our chapter exchange. I give you a chapter by reading. You give me a chapter by sending to my email. If you're writing with me and you wish to exchange chapters, then send your chapter with written permission to writewithmichaela@gmail.com. I will post the email address at the end of the video and in the description below. I'm looking forward to reading your chapters. All chapters are writing prompts read on the channel, whether they are mine or another writer's work, are copyright protected material, and no one may use any part in writing your own stories. The story is PG-13, so if you're under 13 years of age, you need to ask your parents or your parental guardian for permission. The story is in its rough draft stage, just as the last stories and writing prompts we've heard. The title of the story is Princess Emnorawyn Stygerguard, and today we are reading chapter 4. If you would like to read along, send to the email I stated earlier. Request a PDF of the chapter. Make sure you are specific. Chapter 4 doesn't tell me anything because we're on the 4th story. Okay, now let's start. Princess Emnorawyn Stygerguard, Chapter 4, Rebirth of Magic. Emnorawyn was hungry and did not mind them moving breakfast up, but she did not know what to do to bide her time. She sat down in a chair near the small table and gently rubbed her left palm. The cream was working better than she thought it should, and she was glad. Then she felt little zaps. She paused. At first she thought of the sensation as stinging, but then she remembered when a bee had stung her. The initial sensation felt like a sting, and she felt burning and the itching like she had from the bee sting, but the itching and burning did not come from the zaps. Then she thought about the thick carpets in the castle. There were times that after she walked across the castle, if she then touched someone else or something, some other item, she would feel the little zaps. Once it had been her grandfather, and he said she shocked him. Emnorawyn admitted that she did not know how it had happened. Her grandfather explained the carpet. Then he rubbed her brush on the carpet and ran the brush through her hair. Emnorawyn had covered her mouth as she giggled at how funny she looked in the mirror. Her grandfather explained the feeling wasn't always in the air, but he wished he could capture the zap. Emnorawyn thought on that for a while. Several years later, Sizemore, her grandfather, confided that he could capture zaps, and he showed her what he could do. He asked her if she could make the zaps bigger. Emnorawyn could not. Sizemore told her that he had things to share with her when she could capture a zap or make his bigger. Emnorawyn looked down at her burnt hand. She moved her right palm over it without actually touching it. She felt multiple zaps, which caused her to jump. Then she saw one of the zaps, and it reminded her of the lightning she had seen on her way here. She ran her hand over once more, but she stopped at the zap, pressed her hands together, and tried to capture the zap. She had no clue what she would do with the zap once she captured it. As she pressed, she felt a substance in her hands. At first she thought of bread dough, but dough had no bounds. Then she thought of her water pouch. It was exciting to hold the zap, but it was frightening as well. She opened her hands to release it. A ball of air expanded between her hands, and tiny zaps zigzagged around inside. And Emnorawyn's whole body jumped. Her fear became an increasing pain in her chest, so she released the ball, and all the lightning disappeared. Emnorawyn heard the door to her chamber and heard a voice, so she jumped even more. "My lady, do you need anything before breakfast?" asked the maid. Emnorawyn glanced over to the maid and back to where her ball of lightning disappeared. "Are you okay, my lady?" asked the maid. Emnorawyn turned back to the maid. Yes," she replied. "I think I accidentally dozed off." "Oh, would you like me to turn down the bed?" asked the maid. Before Emnorawyn could answer, the maid headed to the bed and was folding down the top layers of covers. Emnorawyn did not know how much sleep she could get, but decided she would at least lay down. The maid helped her into bed and then slipped quietly out of the room. Emnorawyn wanted to rub her hand, but she was too scared to do so. She tried to think with Stygerguard. "Something is happening to me." After several long minutes, she got the reply. "Unless you're sleeping or dead, something should be happening. Will you be more specific?" And Emnorawyn thought to him what had just happened with a ball of zaps. Stygerguard was concerned. Yet at the same time, he pondered things. He remembered Sizemore advising her to capture pops or zaps, as he called them, so Stygerguard thought to her to see if she could think with her grandfather. As she thought with him now, he assured her he would try as well. Emnorawyn let her thoughts wander to her grandfather. My lady, it is time for breakfast." Emnorawyn raised up on her elbow and looked around. She did not recognize the room. She looked at the maid. She did not recognize her either. She felt disoriented. "My lady, do you remember you are in Jor's kingdom? You came to deliver a message?" Emnorawyn swung her feet out of the bed and sat up. She put her face in her right hand and she rubbed her eyes. She sighed and said, "I suppose I missed breakfast." She looked up. "Oh, no, my lady. We would not let that happen. I am here to freshen you up before your escort comes." Emnorawyn raised her eyebrows. She felt groggy. "How long did I sleep?" "Around half an hour," replied the maid. "We just could not get breakfast done any sooner than with that little notice." Emnorawyn acknowledged the maid and let her do her duties to freshen her up. Shortly after, someone was there to escort her to breakfast. She was still in the light pink dress, and she still did not like the color. The maid had added a petticoat, so the pink dress puffed out and took up nearly half the hall. She didn't know what was going to happen when she sat down and the front of the dress puffed up. When she arrived at the dining hall, maids and servants were going every which way. It seemed like there was extra hustle. Emnorawyn figured it was due to breakfast being earlier than normal. She briefly wondered what happened to her knapsack of food, but supposed one of the maids had taken care of it. Someone seated her. She was at the table with Prince Hadley. King Cronte was not there yet. Shortly after the servants served the food, Queen Cronte arrived. Princess Emnorawyn bowed her head to silently say her prayer, but she felt too awkward to reach for Prince Hadley's hand, and he did not reach for hers. She finished her prayer and looked up. It startled her to find King Cronte and King Hadley waiting on her. King Cronte raised his arms. "Oh, great spirit, we thank you for all the care you have given to us. Please continue to watch over us and let the food you have provided nourish our bodies. Blessings be." He lowered his arms. Emnorawyn glanced around to get clues of what was next. "Dear, come eat with us," said the king. "I'm glad to see that you were able to join us." The thin, gaunt woman shuffled over near her husband, and a servant seated her. As the woman neared the table, Emnorawyn felt the prickling sensation, but she dismissed it. Once the woman sat down, Emnorawyn felt the prickling sensation build and vibrate inside her. She watched the others out of the corner of her eye when they picked up the fork to eat, and Emnorawyn took that as her cue to eat. She reached out to a fork and felt sparks and saw tiny zaps. She smoothly reached for a wooden cup. She thought to Stygerguard, "I am having trouble and couldn't think with my grandfather." "I tried very unsuccessfully too," thought Stygerguard. "What is happening now?" Emnorawyn thought the sensations she was feeling and how they started when the queen had entered. Prince Hadley ate a few bites and then noticed Emnorawyn had not really started, so he said, "You may eat. You do not need to wait for us to finish. Only the maids and servants need to do that." Princess Emnorawyn slightly smiled and nodded her head to acknowledge him. She realized many eyes were on her. She was scared to pick up the fork. She slowly reached out her hand. She opened her fingers. She once again felt the burning from the rawness under the burnt skin. As she got closer to the fork, she felt the vibrations. Her eyes swept around the table at all the people watching her. She picked up the fork and knife, cut off a piece of sausage, and ate the bite as smoothly as possible. Emnorawyn closed her eyes to chew and ignored her audience and pain as much as possible. The queen ate a few bites, whispered something to her husband, and then got up and left. King Cronte had stayed and listened in as the war advisors and prophets had discussed things last night once his son had escorted Emnorawyn out. Now he knew he needed to reread the pieces of prophecies that the prophets allowed him to read, to figure out more. Barsil was of the opinion that Princess Emnorawyn was vital in helping them rediscover magic, and now his wife asked if a servant could escort Emnorawyn to her chambers later so they could chat. He had already told his wife of their son's interest in the princess, so it could be that his wife wanted to get to know Emnorawyn better, but it could be about magic. His wife had magic and had protected his kingdom on many occasions. Many years or decades ago, she told him she needed a student because the magic wanted her to pass it. To survive, magic needed to grow. To grow, it needed someone to teach it and someone to learn it. His wife, Lacradine, had learned and studied all her life, but she came to the top of her comprehension. Her teacher had died when she was age 10, and she could find no one to explain a certain concept to her. She had even asked King Cronte if he could explain it, but he could not. Then they brought in students from the kingdom to open tutoring sessions. His wife tutored the common language, he tutored history, and his young son tutored math. All the while, his wife was looking for a student for the magic. They tried for several months, but found no student for his wife. Then his wife became ill. The doctor said her connection to the magic was significant, and as the magic died away, so would she. King Cronte turned to the prophets. They would shake their head and mumble they hoped she made it until the rebirth or revitalization of magic. King Cronte glanced at Princess Emnorawyn. He could tell she favored her left hand, and now he felt something bigger happened than he first thought must have happened. Supporting your weight to dismount the dragon was very different from holding a fork. He began to hope that his wife wanted to chat about the magic. Then he hoped she remembered about their son's interest. Princess Emnorawyn didn't have her mother and would need that conversation as well. The rest of breakfast proceeded normally. Prince Hadley stayed back after a servant escorted Princess Emnorawyn away, and for the most part the servants vanished. Prince Hadley had a feeling that his father wanted to speak with him, and he was right. After the last servant left, his father said, "I do not know Princess Emnorawyn's level of skill, but I need to know." King Cronte turned to his son. "She is a dragon rider, so she should have all the training you have had, including what she needs to ride the dragon. When I send her out, you will practice with her. Do not take advantage of her because of your superior strength. Do not ease up for her because she is female." King Cronte watched his son. "Do not worry, father. I will not overpower her with the first few strokes, and I will make sure she is ready to handle what the enemy has lined up before her if her father sends her to face such vile creatures as our allies sent news of. One more thing. I saw your interest perk up when you met her and knew she was of age. Father, she is beautiful. You would have to be a wood post not to perk up. However, I know what you are going to say next. I know you cannot favor me in battle any more than any other soldier, and I cannot favor her any more than anyone else. I know you understand those things. You paid attention in your lessons. I would like to know how high your interest is, and importantly, I want to let you know interest should not be based solely on beauty. Father, there is more to her than beauty. I assume she did not ride her dragon here in that pink dress. Dragon riders wear armor. Many women cannot bear the weight of armor, so I am assuming she is stronger than she looks. However, I cannot tell you how high my interest is because I myself do not know. She is royalty. I know that is something you and Mom prefer. I know you have given me the opportunity to learn more about her. I know while we are practicing to only concentrate on those things and not my interest. King Bronte was pleased with his son's answers. I did not glimpse her armor, as she had on outer garments covering it, and I don't know much about her either, and I would like to know what happened to her hand. I noticed her favoring it here at the table, put in Prince Hadley. Yes, I noticed outside when she dismounted, but her weight, hostess of course, is quite different. I will learn what I can, said Prince Hadley. King Bronte slightly nodded as he thought how to proceed. The one thing I know, her father told me long ago. He had never heard of such. When she reads a book, she will look at a page or two. Just a glimpse, mind you. And she will close the book and walk through the castle. Apparently, that is when she reads the text. Her grandfather, Sizemore, explained it like a painting in her mind, one she could go back and read any page, any time. So, when she closed her eyes, oh, wow, what a gift. Yes, well, we have a lot to prepare to help King Ryan. Yes, sir, I will do my part. Prince Hadley paused. Is there a way I can glimpse her armor, or is it in her room? Asked the soldiers. They had to help her out of it, as it was too heavy for the maids. Excuse me. Prince Hadley nodded his head a few times and then headed off. The maids had actually found some riding clothes for a slender young man that would fit Princess Emnorawyn and go under her armor. The leather pants were darker brown than the shirt, and they narrowed past the knee to fit in the leather boots they found for her. The shirt was also leather, and it was loose on her, as her shoulders weren't as broad as the young man whom the kingdom tailor originally made the clothes for. For now, they did not put her armor on her. They were escorting her somewhere. Emnorawyn was glad to be out of the pale pink fancy dress. She was not sure about these clothes. The maid told her that her clothes were still drying. As they continued down the hall, Emnorawyn started feeling little pops on her hand, and a tingling sensation went up her arm. Her eyes darted to the soldiers around her to see if they had noticed anything. It did not seem like they had. As they continued, the pops and tingling became more profound. She rubbed her hands. She rubbed her palms. She realized the redness and puffiness had already gone down, and she wasn't feeling as much of a burning or rawness as she had before. The soldiers in front of her stopped at the door, knocked a few times, and then opened the door. They indicated that Princess Emnorawyn should enter. A dim light lit the room, and the light was deeper in the room. Princess Emnorawyn heard the door close behind her. She felt a ball of air start to form in her hand. Not now, she thought, as she closed her hand in a fist. First she grabbed her wrist with her other hand in front of herself, and then she moved her hands behind her. Princess Emnorawyn, please come and sit down. Princess Emnorawyn timidly moved in the room. As she got closer to the queen, the pops started going through her whole body, up her arms, in her head, in her heart, The pops and vibrations were starting to scare her. She did not want to disobey the queen, so she continued to ease forward. Her heart was racing within her as the vibrations became more and more profound. When she finally stepped into the edge of the light, the queen said, "Princess Emnorawyn, you may stop there for now. Every step closer you come to me awakens my own magic within me. I've been sick for quite some time because I came to the edge of my learning ability without my teacher, and I've had no student to pass on the knowledge. I'm not suggesting that you have to become a student for my health. I'm saying the magic within me is dying, and it will not release me, but will take me with it in its death. You have magic." "Me? I am," first Princess Emnorawyn. Queen held up her hands, indicating for Emnorawyn to wait. "Maybe you did not know. Maybe coming so close to me woke up your potential." The queen once again rested her hands in her lap. "I do not know that. I just know when I went to breakfast, the vibration, which had diminished to almost nothing at all, suddenly jumped throughout my body. Inside, I felt alive again. My physical body has gone down for quite some time and will need time to regain strength. I'm no longer used to the strong vibrations and could barely hold my fork to eat the little I did. I had to have the maids bring me my meal in here." She indicated the empty plate on the small table. Their eyes met once again, and the queen motioned Princess Emnorawyn closer. Princess Emnorawyn released her arm from behind her without thinking about it. She stepped forward. She raised her hands before herself to rub her hand. As soon as she touched her palm, the ball formed once again. Princess Emnorawyn threw her hands apart and jumped back. The ball expanded in the room, and they could see lightning jumping around from side to side inside the ball. The queen quickly rose, quicker than Emnorawyn would have thought possible, caught the ball of magic with lightning inside. "Quickly, take the magic back. I cannot hold this much with my current weakness. I, um, I, you can't just release magic like that," stated the queen emphatically. "I do not know how," protested Emnorawyn. "It is yours. Hold out your hands and call it to you." Emnorawyn tentatively stepped forward and held out her hands. In her mind, she thought, "Come to me, come to me." It was very scary to see the ball of lightning coming for her, and she involuntarily took half a step back. Emnorawyn told herself she was a royal and needed to be brave, but she stayed as still as possible, let the magic come to her hands. "Now shrink it," said the queen as she demonstrated. Emnorawyn pressed her hands together. She expected the magic to bulge out and escape, but it did not. "Now put it in a holder," said the queen. "You can pull it out when you're ready for it." What's a holder?" The queen paused for a minute, and she held up one finger and left the lighted area of the room. She was soon back with a metal ball, which she opened. "Usually you have these made for yourself, and I do not want to confuse the magic, so I'm giving this holder to you. You will need these until you can make a magical holder, which is safer. Of course, I was never proficient enough for such." Emnorawyn was not exactly sure how to get the magic into the holder. She squeezed one side down to fit into the hollowed-out half circle, pushed the rest in as if she were pressing bread dough into the ball. Queen worked the mechanisms on the metal ball to get it to close. Then she left Princess Emnorawyn holding the metal ball as she returned to her seat. There were several moments of silence as each pondered the events that just passed. Slowly, the queen said, "I do not want to make any assumptions. Before coming to my kingdom, did you know about the existence of magic?" Princess Emnorawyn rotated more to the queen. "I knew of the possibility. I've read through several chants and incantations. But, well, but what you read would not explain what just happened," asked the queen. Princess Emnorawyn slightly shook her head no. "Did something dramatic or unusual happen to you on your way over here to our kingdom?" Princess Emnorawyn tried not to let her fears show. Stygerguard had warned her not to tell her thoughts about the lightning. Well, I've never flown in a storm before. That was unusual. The beautiful displays of lightning were quite dramatic. The queen carefully watched Princess Emnorawyn. She knew Emnorawyn was a well-trained royal, so discerning any information would be extra difficult. Then she remembered right before the ball of magic had exploded from Emnorawyn's hand. Emnorawyn had rubbed her palm. What happened to your hand? Without thinking, Princess Emnorawyn rolled the metal ball into her right hand and stared down at her left hand. She looked up at the queen. I burnt it on the oil lamp. I misjudged the height of the lamp. Let me see it, said the queen. Princess Emnorawyn slowly moved toward the queen and extended her hand to her. Once again, she started feeling the zap and the vibration. The queen examined it briefly and knew that wasn't the truth, or at least not the full truth. She suspected that Princess Emnorawyn did not trust her, and she could not blame her. They had just met, and magic was very new to Emnorawyn. It was probably best that Emnorawyn was wary of trust. The queen proceeded to the next topic once she was back in her chair. Emnorawyn, Well, it is probably not my place to speak to you about this, but your mother is no longer with us. She paused as she decided how she wanted to proceed. It has been brought to my attention that my son has shown an interest in you. Princess Emnorawyn involuntarily stepped back. But I've done nothing, she protested. Queen waved her hand dismissively. Oh dear, I was not suggesting any such things. Then look, and your beauty is quite obvious. Now, I don't know how far my son's interest goes or in what direction. For all I know, your presence may have awakened magic in him. And I can tell you that knowing that you are a mage makes me very happy that my son has shown an interest. My husband is happy because you are from a royal family. Princess Emnorawyn held up her hands. Pardon me. It seems I cannot grasp all of this. Mage? What does that mean? The queen smiled slightly. It simply means a magic user or a user of magic. There are other terms, but we who use magic use that term for apprentice all the way up to expert sorceress. Why tell me you are happy? Does that mean that you could possibly be unhappy with me? The queen laughed slightly, something she hadn't done in years. Yes, there are reasons for either, and you should be aware of them, whatever they are, because emotions can and do provide strong motives. Sometimes they are deeply hidden. There are deeply hidden emotions and motives. They are always there, no matter how much training someone has had. Now, I do not expect you to act differently around my son. I just wanted you to be aware there is some type of interest there. The room became quiet. Princess Emnorawyn stood in the semi-darkness a little longer as she slipped the ball of magic in a pouch at her belt, and then she headed out the door. The two soldiers were just outside the door. One escorted her to her armory. Okay, writers, that is the end of chapter 4. Leave a comment. Wearing clothes that you are not used to wearing, does it make you self-conscious? Do you like wearing someone else's clothes? Do you like wearing fancy clothes? Leave a comment on feeling the zaps when trying to pick up the fork. Would you have tried to at least hold the fork long enough to cut a bite? Or would you have picked up a roll instead if that was available? Leave a comment on the big ball of magic erupting from Princess Emnorawyn. Would that scare you? Would that excite you? Now that you have captured the zaps, would you want to tell your grandfather first thing? Join me Tuesday for some jargon and for us to continue with the Down Soldier. Join me Friday for Chapter 5 of Princess Emnorawyn and Stygerguard. Visit my website, bymckella.com. Read some character bios. If you read some, then leave a comment on which ones you have read. All your comments will help us to start conversations and build our community. Keep all comments respectful and remember that someone else's perspective can help you with your writing. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe and the bell so we can continue to write together and other people will have a higher chance of finding this video and this channel, since your likes will push the video out to a greater audience. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your participation. If you know someone who would like this video, please share it with them. This is Michaela with Write with Michaela. Bye for now.